Live, Love and Learn by Edmund Ramon Talob of Cessnock 2325. Narrated by David Tredinnick. Aging is not one size fits all. Nothing is set in stone. This narrative is my experience and may be different from yours. From my perspective, growing old is a simple combination of live, love, and learn. I use the word grow because, in my view, we do not cease developing and transforming into better versions of ourselves in old age. The first part of my aging story is inspired by the YOLO, you only live once, gospel of the millennial generation and the global health crisis. The demise of close family members and friends at the height of the ongoing pandemic has hit me hard and made me realize every second of life is a miracle. I am learning from the younger generation and from the catastrophic impact of the pandemic as I encounter and battle everyday challenges with a sense of gratitude and a glimmer of hope rather than a bout of learned helplessness and despair. Living in a democratic society, I am able to voice out my opinions freely. I am writing and sharing my story because I continue to exercise this right. Now that I am considered a senior, or society's glorified terminology for an older person, I am taking an eternal break from complaining too much about unnecessary issues and topics beyond my control. As I grow older, I am learning to appreciate simple joys and simple pleasures that matter to me. I have refrained from measuring myself according to other people's standards and complying to politically correct benchmarks for my own aging. I will only live once. For this reason, I live my life as I believe and take ownership of how I age and embrace death and my fair share of adversities, afflictions, and ailments. There are many sugar-coated concepts about aging: graceful aging, healthy aging, positive aging, productive aging, to name a few. For me, these concepts are empty words. As such, I learned to age to my heart's desire and live every moment empowering myself to become the upgraded, final version of me. I have retired from living to meet other people's expectations. After all, retirement is about life as we choose it to be. This crazy little thing called love constitutes the next part. I believe love makes us crazy because it does shake all over like a jellyfish, as amplified in the song of the Queen, a legendary British band. Decades of falling in and out of love reinvented the hopeless romantic in me and reframed my consumeristic mindset of love. I have experienced the emotional rollercoaster ride of divorce, grief, and loss, and the emotional breakdowns underpinning my gender and midlife existential crises. There were moments when I loathed myself and hated everything about my life. But for every journey around the sun, I learned to overcome hatred. As I grew older, I fell in love with love that transformed my relationships with family, friends, and foes more productively than destructively. I was estranged from siblings because of traditional family conflicts. I lost colleagues and friends at work, in school, and in the community while going through rough patches, transitioning into a gender non-conforming lifestyle. In my younger years, I was discouraged to pursue artistic endeavors stereotyped as effeminate and female-oriented. For this reason, I feared and hated being caught dancing and singing. Eventually, attitudes and perceptions have changed, with postmodern societies upholding diversity and tolerance. Growing old in a socially inclusive environment made a difference for me. In the course of time, I transformed the hatred in my life with love. To put love into action, I learned to be more compromising and forgiving than critical and egocentric in the way I communicate and relate with family, friends, and fellow humans. I have rekindled my creative passions and am now dancing and singing again, enjoying ballet performances and the opera, and more excitingly, participating in singing competitions. Filling my heart with love has made my aging journey meaningful and worthwhile. The final part emanates from my profession as a former academic. In my perspective, wisdom is an aging myth. Because we have lived long enough to gain practical experiences and textbook knowledge from university degrees and employment, we now think we know it all. The privileged elitism underlying growing in wisdom is an aging paradigm I have learned to dispel and demystify. Learning continues in old age. For me, it is a different ballgame, because learning at this stage is a blend of unlearning and relearning, considering exponential growths in science and technology. In my journey, I unlearned visiting the post office to mail cards and letters, and relearned to use social media platforms to check in with and send words of comfort and support to family and friends. I unlearned waiting in long queues at the bank, and relearned to manage my financial affairs with secure online banking applications. I unlearned carrying cash around and relearned tapping with mobile devices to pay for goods and services. In other words, I learned to simplify and declutter many activities of daily living so I can spend quality time for relationships that matter to me. Age is just a number is another common belief that does my head in. I unlearned this aphorism and am now relearning it is categorically not true. Our age tells us when we can get a driver's license, consume alcohol legally, apply for the age pension, or celebrate birthdays. Age as a number is therefore important because it marks milestones upon which life's lessons are built. My age is a celebration of life, and not a promotion of ageist cliches glorifying youthfulness. To conclude, I have learned not to complicate my aging and overthink it. I keep my journey straightforward and simple. I live, love, and learn the best way I choose. And yes, I celebrated my 60th birthday singing karaoke. The end.